The horse hockey alert has been averted. Slice looks to continue their win streak with a historic fifth straight win. Will Meat French or Red 19 ever be able to stop Slice? The city of Milford stole my trash can. Will I ever get it back? The truth will soon be known on the Clash of the Pencils live stream.
Turn on the stream tonight. Short stories in the spotlight. Writers bring their best to light. The Story Central time. Breaking down the plot. Characters that fought. Twist that hit the spot. It's all you live tonight. Are you ready for some stories? In a live stream glory. It's the contest of the year. Writers have no fear. Catch the suspense unfold. Feel the tales being told. Critiques fair and bold. The truth will soon be known. Dollars from far and wide. Mysteries you can't hide. Every twist takes the story right. By these rules we abide. Are you ready for some stories? In a live stream glory. It's the contest of the year. Writers have no fear. Breaking down the plot.
All right, welcome to the Clash of the Pencils live stream, the only full contact creative writing esports league in the history of history itself. My name is Tom Sherman. I'm joined, as always, by Greg the Reader Peterson. We are here to analyze the plot, character, and setting of the top short stories of the day. So every day, authors from across the internet submit a handwritten one-page story based off a prompt that we reveal at the end of the live stream. And then the top three stories get submitted to the public at large, who votes for their favorite. And then we reveal the winner at the end of every show. So what does it take to get into the finals? That's something called the keys to victory. And so there are three elements that triangulate to create a story. That is the oh, wait, hold on. Geez, maybe if I'm on my presentation, it'll work. So that is the plot. That is the setting and the characters. So the closer an author can strike to the center of each element, the more engaging, visceral, and exciting that story will be. So keeping that in mind, Greg, what do you think the authors are going to be focusing on when dealing with today's prompt, which is there's been a mix-up. A crocodile chef's restaurant accidentally gets musical instruments delivered from a rock concert, forcing the croc to get creative with that night's dinner menu.
Wow, there has been a mix-up there, Tom.
Tell me about it.
I think the setting is pretty well established. We're going to be at a restaurant. We're going to be cooking up something special, but just exactly how these various props are going to be incorporated into the menu, I think there's some room for creativity given these constraints.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely seems like sort of a plot heavy scenario here. We've got the setting, we've got the characters. How are they going to deal with such a mix up?
"Where is my order?" bellowed Rex as he paced back and forth in the kitchen. "It was supposed to arrive yesterday. I'll never be ready for my big grand opening if it doesn't get here today." Rex was distraught, on the verge of crocodile tears, waiting for the elusive package of supplies to arrive. He wanted everything to be perfect for his new restaurant's debut. Rex was determined to make Scales and Shells the premier seafood restaurant in Crocodile Alley, where his fellow amphibians could eat in succulent dishes skillfully prepared by Rex himself. After a lot of jaw-dropping and tail-slapping, he heard the familiar low rumble off in the distance, which grew louder and louder as the truck got closer and closer. Rex crossed his webbed toes and hoped that the man in brown would soon be at his doorstep. When he heard the tinkling of the bell which hung on the front door, he hurried to find the delivery man with his overdue parcel and sighed a huge sigh of relief. Rex tore open the box and his beady little eyes almost popped off his head. This was not his order. Instead of table settings and cooking utensils, the box contained musical instruments and sheet music. Grah! What's a croc to do? Rex's reptilian brain swung into overdrive to try to come up with a workable solution. I have an idea, exclaimed Rex, and it just might work. After working dawn to dusk and dusk to dawn, very tired, Rex opened the door to Scales and Shells, greeting the block-long line of customers. The diners were treated to a lavish dinner of oysters on the cymbal shell, drumstick shrimp skewers, electric eel, and black cod with notes of lemon rosemary. "This has been a delectable opening night," declared Arlo, the owner of Scales and Bells, the music store down the block. "Funny thing happened. I received a box of serving platters and cooking utensils yesterday."
Rex opening the restaurant Scales and Shells, a high-end restaurant, gets a misdelivered package and has to come up with a creative solution, ends up serving dinner on the what was supposed to be the plate and cutlery and that sort of good stuff that got misdelivered. And then at the end, the owner of Scales and Bellow, the music shop down the street, says, "It's crazy. I got a bunch of dishes in the mail."
Yeah, it seems like the old man in brown made a little bit of a mix up between Scales and Shells and Scale and Bellow. I bet that's not the last time that happens.
Classic.
But I thought there was some really great. The menu itself sounded pretty delectable. We've got the dinner of oysters on a cymbal shell. We've got drumstick shrimp skewers. So that's very visual, as a clever way of getting these musical instruments into the restaurant. Electric eel and black cod with notes of lemon rosemary. I've never had electric eel. It seems dangerous to serve on the opening night, but apparently in this town that is the delicacy.
Yeah.
I wonder if you have to sign a waiver.
Hopefully.
Hopefully,
Yeah, it was
yeah.
a delightful story. I really enjoyed sort of how the character was built up. Verge of crocodile tears. That was a good
Mhm.
little dig in there, as well as the jaw dropping and tail flapping. So I thought the characters were great. It was a nice succinct story. It had it all. It worked in the prompt, and it was a nice tight triangle in my opinion.
Yeah, I liked what's a croc to do. Rex's reptilian brain swung into overdrive. We always hear about the reptilian part of the brain. Well, this guy, if it goes into overdrive, he can improvise a good dish here. So
That's and that's why they've been around for 65 million plus years, I guess. So
and they're not going anywhere, Tom. They're unkillable.
No, that's right.
Especially when they can make meals like this on the fly with a bunch of instruments. Like, there's no stopping their ability to adapt.
That's a scary point.
Little Sue knew when to put his head down and look busy doing dishes. Uncle Wilson, a massive 16-feet-long crocodile with such a rotund belly that it never left the floor, always wagged his tail furiously when he was angry. He was the executive chef at Crocodile Kitchen. Despite Little Sue's best attempt to stay clear of Uncle Wilson, the chef waddled over to him, dragging all of the kitchen's crumbs with his belly and leaving streams of oily slime behind him. "Those dagnab hyenas think they are so funny. I should never have trusted them to deliver us food for the restaurant. What were I thinking, Little Sue?" Little Sue knew this was a rhetorical question and didn't respond, but knew Chef Uncle Wilson wanted an audience, so he put down the plate and soap and craned his head to look directly at him. Chef Uncle Wilson started talking to himself out loud. "Screw it. I'll rewrite tonight's menu and use these musical instruments that were delivered. Tonight will be a musical feast. Every instrument customers order not only serves up notes, but delicious bites to satisfy both your ears and taste buds." Just as quickly as Chef Uncle Wilson had arrived, he abruptly backed up and turned around, and beelined for the chalkboard. Little Sue could hear him angrily muttering to himself as he began erasing the previously planned menu, and then began writing the new menu. Piano pizza. Instead of a pizza box, a sleek grand piano rolls up to your table. When you lift the lid, heaping mounds of mozzarella and pepperoni springs to life, and every time you hit a note, you hear a crunchy, baked crust. Trumpet taco, delivered by a mariachi band, the trumpet is filled with taco toppings instead of brass. Squeeze the valves to release a melody of salsa, guacamole, and braised beef into your tortilla. Saxophone salad. A big, shiny saxophone delivered with leafy greens and dressing oozes out when you hit the keys. Drumstick dumplings. Delivered in a snare drum, these dumplings pop out with each hit of the drumsticks. Guitar gelato. A electrical guitar arrived last. Instead of strings, it has gelato ribbons. Little Sue was impressed by Chef Uncle Wilson's creativity, but knew he couldn't enjoy the stuffed meal. He was on a non-note diet, which included a base-free cleanse.
Little Sue, which I believe we've seen in one of Meat French's stories before, with the group of kids with the magical map. Little Sue, working as a dish busser, um, gets accosted by Uncle Wilson, head chef of Alligator Kitchen, and angry about a missed delivery. Little Sue gives Uncle Wilson audience as they rumble about what to do, and then they figure it out. That reptilian brain kicks in, and they go to the chalkboard, write up quite a menu. I'm not really going to go over it beat by beat, but I am just as impressed as Little Sue is or was with the creativity of Chef Wilson, and but alas, cannot eat it.
Cannot eat it because I mean, if you're gonna be a
Non-note diet.
non-note diet is tough for a musical. What does that even mean?
Base-free cleanse is very tough.
Base-free cleanse. That's maybe what we should be promoting on the internet now. musical cleanses. I liked the fact that Uncle Wilson was strongly imagined from a character point of view, naming him as the executive chef at Crocodile Kitchen. There's a lot of authority there. And then he has a lot of physical presence. He's dragging all the kitchen's crumbs with his belly and leaving streams of oily slime behind him. Seems like a health code violation, but we're going to play right past that. I liked how there was like the dynamic between Little Sue and this 16-foot long crocodile. It's like we open with that. Little Sue knew when to put his head down and look busy doing the dishes. He's not actually doing the dishes. He's just looking busy at doing the dishes because he fears his employer's wrath.
Right. He's not answering the question. He's looking like he wants to listen to answer the question. Yes.
Exactly. Every student knows that look all too well. And then those dagnab hyenas. How can you trust the supply chain to a bunch of jokesters? I feel like that's the real villain in both of these stories so far is the person who's making this mistake on delivering at the last second, the key ingredients here. I wish they would come back, but yet both chefs make it work. I had Storyflix and I had trouble understanding how some of the musical menu worked. Just from a logistical or a plating point of view, how these these things go. Some of them were a bit figurative, but overall it was nice. I don't think it's as tight a triangle as the first one. In terms of paying off, but I liked the creative blending of notes. What did you think?
Yeah, I think that the character development was really the strongest part of it. And the dishes, well, I thought what was interesting was actually that in both cases, the chef ended up using the instruments as the plating and as the dishes, not necessarily as the food itself. You know, it's not like there's been a food misdelivery necessarily, and they don't have anything to eat. It's just something has been misdelivered, but they still have enough food to serve on the instruments. So I think that's a good creative way that the authors have been able to work around, you know what I mean, this issue of, you know, you can't eat nothing. So
one thing we haven't seen is the restaurant goers, the patrons. We've described both dishes, but are these alligators are these crocodiles coming to a crocodile dish? Are these humans? Like what?
That's a good point.
If they're crocodiles, they probably could get nutritional value out of an electric guitar just devouring it.
That's a very good point. Yeah, we've had the description of the chefs, the bussers, and the delivery folks, but we haven't quite yet gotten the diners, except the owner of Scales and.
He said to ignore the error. What do we have on leg? Elton, head chef at Garrial, asked his sous chef Salty. We got potatoes. I'm scrubbing 'em. We have herbs and the small stuff, but we need mains. Even you can't make a service happen with no entrees. The hippos out there won't eat guitars and amps. Salty said, reaching a leg into the sink to extract another potato and start scrubbing. The owner of Giriel strode quickly back to the kitchen where the crocs had congregated. So guys, any ideas on what we can do with these instruments tonight? Spurgy said, his long neck contorting to bring his beak inches away from the crocodiles' mouths one by one. Could do a play on drumsticks, right? Spurgy said, contorting again and oscillating between the nonplussed crocs. How about 5-string sea bass, right? He said again, contorting and disrespecting personal crocodile space. Maybe some grilled red drum. This time, Elton subtly grabbed a giant pot and filled it with warm water. How about hand-battered handpan, right? Elton gently picked up Spurgy and placed him into the pot of warm water. Or artisan macaroni and cheese balls, guys, right? Elton and Salty began plucking Spurgy's feathers as he continued suggesting creative menu items. Could do pate, am I right? Or tambourine tabbouleh, guys. The two crocs finished defrocking Spurgy. The ostentatious ostrich owner lifted him from the water, patleting and dredged him in flour. Accordion squash soup, guys. Am I right, guys? Mandolin a mandolin and some banjos au gratin, guys. Hear me? Cello pops for dessert? Fried charango with chocolate sauce, fellas. The crocs knocked loose the excess flour and dipped Spurgy in beer batter, letting the excess drip off. They dipped Hell in coconut while Spurgy kept offering ideas. They added Spurgy to a deep fryer at 375 degrees, and after 8 minutes plated him with lemon wedges. He was brought to a table of hippos, still brainstorming.
Wow.
All right. So here we have Elton, head chef at Gariel, saying, working hard, trying to put something on the table. The owner said to ignore the error of this misdelivery, but they've got no entrees and
no mains.
no mains. And as they're trying to brainstorm, saying, the hippos, they're not going to eat guitars and amps. The owner, Spurgy, who's an ostentatious ostrich, strides into the back and starts brainstorming with some really great puns of what they could do, a play on drumsticks, perhaps, as he contorts his neck in and around the crocodiles. As
The person disrespecting the personal crocodile space.
And
You're really asking for it. You're really asking for it, Spurgy.
And then, as the Spurgy goes on this brainstorm, the crocodiles slowly batter him and fry him and serve him to the hippos.
Pluck the feathers. Pluck beer batter. He just doesn't. He's missing the what? He's missing the plot entirely here.
Oh my gosh, he thought they were still brainstorming as he was
Slice is nailing the plot while Spurgy is missing the plot. The way it ratcheted up was really masterfully done here towards the ending. In one page, you get an entire world. It's very it's densely the language, just the sheer excess of language that's going on to make this world come alive. We get like the Crocs, these no nonsense. This is a restaurant where we've got to make things work. The owner's coming back there thinking that he's being helpful. He's the main course. There's a plot twist coming, Tom. And these hippos, they won't eat anything. They won't eat the electric guitars or the amps. They really want that ostrich.
That's right.
And the Crocs know how to keep the patrons happy, even if it comes at the expense of the owner. So we get a little bit of that Marxism that wants to just pop out in Slice's stories. still happening.
It's so great. I mean, there's nothing better than working hard when you're slammed in the back of the house, and then the owner coming back and just starting to throw out great ideas.
Yeah. Am I right? Am I right, guys? Am I right? Hear me?
especially ones that might not be helpful ever at the moment. It was just I think that was just sort of a spot on classic. I mean, that shows how Slice has had such a grip and a stranglehold on the top three for so long. because yeah, the characters were well developed. I mean, which set up the plot, and the setting was also driving the plot the whole time. I mean, I thought it was great. I got this visual of as the ostrich is weaving its neck in and out and through all these crocodiles that are gathered over the sink scrubbing potatoes. It's sort of the same deal as when an ostrich is in the savannah, drinking water at the pond, interrupting personal space and just jibber jabbering, like squawking, like so there's an interesting sort of and then also Gariel, I looked that up. That means crocodile. So the owner of a restaurant called Crocodile is an ostrich. Fun little detail there too, where they're probably kind of bitter, like you said, that sort of Marxist pop that we're all looking for in that slice.
Probably a little bitter. The bourgeoisie gets the comeuppance they deserve.
Classic.
Come to a favorite song, a great heat lapse. Feel like the lizard again. Sweat it out, let it pour. Burn the dance floor. Free lifetime membership. There are up to 100 classes. Come and dance, come and sweat. The skill you won't regret. Feel the beat in your bones. Stretch it out, lose control. Groovy moves, energy high. Dance with us, touch the sky. Free lifetime membership. There are up to 100 classes. Come and dance, come and sweat. The skill you won't regret.
Here is our next prompt. Uh-oh. The gym teacher never should have put the boundary for the 5th grade's capture the flag game in the enchanted forest behind the school.
What could go wrong? That's fine. It's fine.
I hate it when that happens. That actually happened a fair amount at my school. And, a lot of kids never came back from that.
That school roster by the end of the year was half of what it was at the start of the year.
And they say PE is a joke, but no, not necessarily. Not necessarily. So awesome. Great prompt there. Where do you think, what, I don't know.
The setting. It's all in the setting.
It's all in the setting?
Yep. We got a Hunger Games situation behind the school, Tom.
Honestly, that would be fun. But hey, maybe that's just me. At number 5 from Meat French, Uncle Wilson, a massive 16-foot-long crocodile with such a rotund belly that it never left the floor, always wagged his tail furiously when he was angry. He was the executive chef at Crocodile Kitchen. So, guys, any ideas what we can do with these instruments tonight? Spurgey said, his long neck contorting to bring his beak inches away from the crocodile's mouths, one by one. Could do a play on drumsticks, right? Rex was distraught, on the verge of crocodile tears, waiting for the elusive package of supplies to arrive. Number 2, from Meat French, those dagnab hyenas think they are so funny, I should have never trusted them to deliver us food for the restaurant. What were I thinking, little Sue? And the number 1 sentence of the night from Slice, they added Spurgey to a deep fryer at 375 degrees. After 8 minutes, plated him with lemon wedges. He was brought to a table of hippos, still brainstorming.
They looked hungry. Those hippos look pretty.
Top 5 sentences of the night. So let's just hit the button right now. Set the winner. See who's going up. And believe it or not, Slice.
Wow.
Yet again, 5, 6 in a row. What is that? 5 in a row? Unbelievable.
This is like DiMaggio.
What's that?
This is a DiMaggio streak here.
It's unreal. If Slice wins tomorrow, that would be 2 straight weeks in a row that Slice takes down a perfect week. So, wow.
Turn on the stream tonight. Short stories in the spotlight. Writers bring their best to light. The story central time. Breaking down the plot. Characters are fought. Twist and hit the spot. It's all you live tonight. Are you ready for some stories? In a live stream glory. It's the contest of the year. Writers have no fear. Catch the suspense, some travelers from far and wide, mysteries you can't hide. Every twist takes the story right. By these rules we abide. Are you ready for some stories?